What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the all-new, brand new 2022 Subaru Outback Wilderness. Big shout out and thank you to Randy Marion Subaru for providing this new vehicle for today's video. Definitely take a look at their website, link down below. And the model that we're looking at today is finished off in crystal white pearl, has option package 22 and an MSRP at $42,000. Underneath the hood of the Subaru Outback Wilderness, you're going to find a turbocharged 2.4 liter 4-cylinder boxer engine. This 4-cylinder pumps out 260 horsepower with 277 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to the CVT transmission and sets the power to all 4 wheels. It also runs on an 18.5 gallon fuel tank, so you're looking at 21 miles per gallon in the city with 26 out on the highway. Curb weight comes in around 3,900 pounds, and it can even tow up to 3,500 pounds. Overall length is 191.3 inches with wheelbase at 108.1. Width is 74.6 and height is 66.9 inches. The Outback Wilderness is an off-road focused vehicle, and it has an approach angle at 20 degrees with breakover angle at 21 degrees. Ground clearance is 9.5 inches and then departure angle is 24 degrees. Moving on to the exterior styling with the 2022 Outback Wilderness. You can tell this is a pretty rugged looking vehicle, especially with all the black accents. We get a set of LED headlights that have a really nice C shape to them for the DRL, along with a projector beam right in the center. You can see the black plastic going all the way up towards the headlight and then all the way down surrounding the entire front bumper. I really like these really cool looking LED fog lights, and you get a cool orangish bronze color up above that. We also get a massive opening in the lower portion of the grille to allow a ton of cooling to the radiators. And you can see another grille up top with a forward facing camera and your Subaru logo. I really like how everything comes together. It certainly does give this a unique style and an off-road rugged design. We get some sharp lines all throughout the hood with a black vinyl decal right in the center, and it really comes together nicely. Moving our way to the side profile, that plastic black makes its way to the front and rear fender arches. You see how everything is laid out, and we even get it in the side skirt. You get Outback written in the center as well. Then we get a nice set of 17-inch wheels. They're finished in a matte black with an all-terrain tire around them, and you can see just how much clearance there is. The Subaru Wilderness badge is on the doors, which has a really good design, and then we get all black around the side mirrors. They do feature an integrated LED turn signal, and then all body colored for the side handles. There's black trim running around all of the windows to blend it nicely. Then we get some roof rails finished in black with more of that orange color. You can see the sunroof up top as well and a shark fin antenna in back. And then taking a look at the side profile, you can tell how it's a little bit higher up than a traditional Outback. Has a really rugged design all around. In back, we also get an integrated top-mounted spoiler with some black trim around it, and then a nice set of LED taillights. They have a 3-dimensional look with some black and red. Then you can see all the black surrounding the rear bumper, more of that color contrast, all of your parking sensors within the bumper, and a dual exhaust system. Then you get the Outback Wilderness logo on the right, finished in black, and then Subaru All-Wheel Drive is blacked out as well. The rear end comes together nicely. I think the whole design flows together to give it that adventurous look. So there's a good look at the exterior with the all-new Outback Wilderness. It's a pretty aggressive looking vehicle. I like all the contrasts, especially in white with all that black plastic. It looks pretty cool. We have Subaru's key fob, pretty basic as you would expect. We have the lock and unlock button. The unlock button is even the Subaru logo. You do have the smart key with the buttons on the side, but with that said, it's unlocked. Let's check out this interior. This Outback Wilderness gets a black leather interior with more of that orange accent all throughout. If we take a look at the door panel now, finished off in a really nice color, you can see the Wilderness tag right here with some contrast stitching. We get a nice armrest with a little bit of padding as well as a grab handle, window controls, mirror controls, and lock and unlock, then your release handle up above that. There is quite a lot of storage in the lower portion. Then moving our way inside, you can see the plastic door sill and then all the power controls on the seat. I really like this material, has a really smooth design, a very soft feeling as well, kind of a golf ball texture. Really nice bolsters on the bottom and top, get a little bit of that orange stitching, and then moving our way to the headrest, you get that same badge up on top, which looks really nice. We get a black leather steering wheel with more of that orange accents, along with color contrast stitching. And then now inside the Outback, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. All the electronics will turn to life. we take a look at the gauge cluster now, we get your analog tach and temperature over on the left with a speedometer and fuel on the right side. Right in the center, there is a small LCD display. You can control that using these toggles down below. There's a few things that you can scroll through, see some of the trip information, MPG, and things like that. Not too many items in here, but just enough. If we take a look at the steering wheel now, we get the Subaru badge right in the center, some Bluetooth and audio controls over on the left, then cruise control settings over on the right with your distance pacing and steering intervention. You do get a set of steering wheel mounted paddle shifters for the CVT. It will make up its own gears, which is a pretty cool touch to be able to hold the transmission in a more aggressive design. You do get windshield wiper controls on the right, turn signal stalk and headlights on the left. And then on the left side of the steering wheel, we have controls for the interior dimming as well as the power liftgate. We get some nice leather material with stitching, more of the stitching around the air vent, and all black running across the top portion of the dash. On the right side, you get more of that material as well as this cool texture and a small shelf. You could fit a few cell phones in there. I like the yellow contrast for the stitching. And then we get a massive touchscreen infotainment system. You can see up top we have a small screen. You can scroll through this and see a few things for your drive mode. We have your dirt and snow mode along with the deep mud and ruts. So I really like that. It'll come up on the center display as well, going into all different drive modes. So that's a pretty nice touch. And then you can scroll all the way back. You can see the exterior weather along with the engine temperatures and some vitals, and then back to the main screen with audio. Along this screen, you have a few different shortcuts for phone. You have apps on here as well, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Then exiting out of here, you can swipe over to see a few more things for added shortcuts. Down below that, we get a home icon button, which gets you to this main screen, start stop feature, and then this car icon right here will come up. You can see your drive mode as well. It'll come up so you can easily adjust every single thing within the car. Then you can just tap the home icon to get back here. We do get climate controls in the lower side. All you have to do is tap one of these, then it comes up on the screen. So for your temperature, you can easily swipe that. You also get your heater. Then exiting out of there, we have your on off switch. All of your different zones will pop up here. And then down below that, we have fan speed. You can see it in this lower side. Passenger side has their own controls as well for the heated seat as well as their own temperature. So it's a pretty nice setup the way everything's laid out. Now we can go ahead and put the car into reverse. The upper portion of the screen, you come up with your backup camera. You get some good guidelines on it as well. And then if I go ahead and put it back into park, it all shuts off. So really nice use the way the screen is. You do get physical controls for temperature on the left and right side, tuning and volume as well to have a few manual controls. Beneath that, we get wireless phone charging along with some USB ports and auxiliary. You have the electronic park and brake, then your shifter. I like the color contrast to it, and I like the smooth material down below. We do get two cup holders down here, more color contrast for the armrest. Opening this up, we have a nice small storage area, and then grabbing the other side, you can open it up and you get a pretty good sized glove box. The main glove box on the right, if we open this up, you have a pretty large bucket as you would expect. And then one last look at the interior. I really love the massive screen and just the way everything is laid out. It looks pretty sporty in here. I think the colors match nicely and the use of materials, it feels pretty nice in here, especially for the price point. I think it's laid out pretty nicely. Up top, we do get the sunshade for your sunroof. Then you get your controls up top for the roof, the dome lights, as well as a sunglass holder. And then moving on to the rear seat space, if I grab the door handle and open it up, the door panel's finished off just like we saw up front, and we get all the same seating material in back. This can seat 3 people. We get the armrest right in the center that'll pop down. We do get some storage on the back side of these seats, heated rear seats along with air vents, and then you even get 2 USB ports. So then sitting in the back seat now of this Subaru Outback, this is a pretty roomy SUV crossover. You know, I'm 5'11", headroom is not too bad, a few inches, and even with the driver's seat set at my height, I got a few inches behind there as well. Good armrest on the left side, and then there is a lever on the inside of the seat right there that you can grab and recline the seat just a little bit. You get maybe 3 inches of recline, and it actually makes this a pretty comfortable car to be in. And then if we go ahead and grab the center armrest, it's pretty wide and you get your 2 nice cup holders. So pretty roomy in the back here. You get dome lights up top and then grab handles as well. Moving on to the cargo area, you do have the button on the key fob, the one in the interior, or you can just press the one underneath the Subaru logo. This will open nicely, all power operated. And then we have quite a lot of storage space in the back of an Outback. This is a pretty useful crossover. I like how the liner even comes all the way up to the fender arches to add some more protection. We do get a little storage net on this right side and a good cubby on the left. Then you have handles right here. They look just like normal door handles. If you grab this, those will automatically fold down and get nicely out of the way. That's a really great touch. You can see just how much more extra cargo space you're gonna get in the back of the Outback. And if we go through these rear doors, they fold nice and flat to really make this a useful SUV with tons of storage space. So we are setting off now in the Outback Wilderness Edition. I just drove the Forester Wilderness Edition, so this one is kind of a step above. It's got the turbo engine, and it already feels like a much nicer vehicle. It's a little bit more refined feeling. There's really no wind noise or road noise. It's pretty quiet driving, 50 miles per hour. The turbo engine, that is a nice addition to this Outback. It really does get up to speed nicely, very peppy. It's a good power plant to have for a car like this. Visibility is fantastic in this. You can see a huge windshield, mirrors all do a great job. The extra windows are a nice touch, and visibility over your left and right shoulder. You really don't have any blind spots. This is a very easy car to navigate. Slow speeds, you just tap this view button and the front view camera pops up, and then of course in reverse you get the backup camera. So it's nice to have both of those cameras together, but it really is smooth. You know, there's not too crazy body roll. This feels pretty planted. Of course, this is a little bit higher ground clearance, higher ride height than your typical Outback is gonna be. This one is more geared towards being able to hit those off-road trails, you know, go camping, go on some sort of adventure where you're gonna be off the pavement. But this does feel pretty confident to drive. Getting up to speed now. The turbo engine packs a nice punch. The CVT isn't that smooth. There's a few little hiccups in it, it feels like maybe just flat spots with how the power is sent through the transmission. I'm not the biggest fan of CVTs. However, I think for most people, you know, it's gonna do what it needs to do. It'll get up to speed fine. There's really no complaints with that for normal people, normal driving. It just seems like I would much rather have some actual gears in there than a CVT. But nonetheless, it does deliver the power to the wheels decently smooth. It just could be a little bit smoother, I would say. But even going this speed, going around turns and things like that, it is a smooth car, it really is. Steering is so light. Higher speeds, you know, there's some body roll, some vagueness in the steering. This has no performance sports car aspects to it whatsoever. This is strictly kind of an A to B car. However, it does have the off-road capabilities for when you need it. As far as using the interior, it's also pretty simple. I love the massive screen. It really does help this out and just make it a lot more modern feeling. We'll put it into the manual mode. We'll be able to shift with these paddles. It's a little jerky in between shifts. Obviously, there's actually not real gears within a CVT transmission. However, it basically has different presets for how the transmission is going to basically shift. So it's cool how they've at least given you a manual control to have a little bit more control, especially if you do plan on towing, you know, maybe a smaller utility trailer. This is gonna be able to do that, and you can hold those gears. If you're going up a mountain or something in your off-road modes, it's gonna be able to hold a lower gear ratio for better torque down low. So I like that aspect to it. All right, so now my perspective, getting my honest thoughts about driving this. The turbo engine, I really like. I mean, you get up to about 60 really not thinking about it. It's a nice peppy power plant. The Forester I was in has a natural aspirated engine. It's a little slow. So you can tell for the extra $5,000, $6,000, this is a step up. So if you are cross-shopping the two, you're gonna get a nicer car if you go for the Outback. And I like how both of them, of course, give you the wilderness option to get that off-road capability. So if you want a nicer power plant, a nicer car, this one feels a little bit more refined than the two. But normal driving, you know, it's not bad. It's kind of a normal car to drive. You feel high up for being kind of like a crossover wagon SUV. It's an interesting layout, what the Subaru Outback is. But you feel nice and high up, just really good visibility, good view around. Use of materials are pretty decent. It kind of feels like what you would expect. Really don't have any crazy complaints with it. It drives normal. The only downfall I would say is just the transmission. Maybe it can't quite handle the power as well. I didn't notice anything like that in the Forester with the slower engine. It felt a lot smoother. This one, the transmission just feels like there's flat spots and things like that. So not the biggest fan of the CVT that's in this. It's just not that smooth. As you accelerate, it kind of goes up and down with how the power feels. Not to say that's a deal breaker, of course. Most people probably won't really care too much, but it's just a small thing that I notice about it. But it's nice to be in this, how it does feel pretty refined. It's really quiet going 50. We're on a pretty decent road. it's not bad at all. And the fact that it does have the suspension laid out to where you can hit the trails, I feel like it's going to be very comfortable hitting those bumps given how smooth and soft it is right now. And when you are on the road, you can tell the body roll and stuff. I mean, obviously that's not good for on-road if you're going to be going crazy in this, which I don't think anybody is, but you know that's going to translate nicely for when you're hitting trails, to where it's going to be smooth and comfortable and pretty pinpointy when you're going up and down different trails. Brakes do a good job as well, and I like how you get all the safety features, you know, the cruise control, distance pacing, all that works really nicely in it. Lane keeping is nice to see. It seems very intrusive though, but if you even get close to one of the lines, it beeps at you. As you guys have heard already in this video, it beeps quite a bit, even just getting close. Of course, you can probably end up turning that off some way. But see right there, testing out the turbo power, just passing a car. Not bad. I think once you're up to speed, the transmission feels a lot smoother. It's just the initial, when you get up and go, the first like gear changes, that's when you kind of feel it not utilizing it as well. But once you're up, you know, the rolling, the passing speed, stuff like that, pretty nice. So it's a pretty cool blend for sure, and I think owners are going to like what they have to offer in this car. It kind of gives you a good, well-rounded, utility, adventurous crossover. But I think that is then it for this brand new 2022 Subaru Outback Wilderness. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content to come. And then a big shout out and thank you to Randy Marion Subaru for providing this new car for today's video. Definitely check out their website linked below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.